All right, now, I'm going to open up my heart to you guys. I had the wrong impression of Kadamian. Okay, let me open up my heart. Can I open up my heart? You guys mind? Because you're my family and I love you. I had the wrong impression of Kadamian. I came there thinking he's going to be like these typical Dawagandas, mean. When he came there, he rubbed me the wrong way at first. Aha! What's up, Moshe? Moshe Sheckelstein? Can you tell your buddy George, stop sending me these photos here? Let me show you the photo. Shekels, Shekels. Tell George, your buddy, your Mossad agent, stop sending me these. George, stop. Tell your buddy George. Moshe works with George. They're part of the crackdown on those who don't love Zionism. Okay? Anyway, Sargon was there, George was there, and his Mossad agent, Moshe, wasn't there. But George was there. He came in telling me, look, I did a video, you should watch it, where I said that you called my mother a whore, you called me son of a whore, and my mother's a Christian. I said, buddy, there's a context behind that. He goes, okay, I think it would be appropriate if you go live and you apologize. I thought about it, but he kept insisting. Now remember, my impression of him is bad. Why? Because of the clips I saw between him and God Logic. Okay, you ready? You guys ready? So I got up and I got very tough with him. I said, no, I'm not apologizing to you. You don't tell me what to do. Stop these games. We're going to get into debate or you can leave. So I walked out. So then Brian Davila got angry with him, calmed him down. We had the debate. Now, I don't know how to say this without sounding arrogant. I don't know how to say this. I don't want to be arrogant. All I can tell you, we started around 9:30. We finished around 1. We took some bathroom breaks. So how many hours is that? Let's say 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to be about 4 hours. But he kept appealing to emotion in that. He'd say, don't cut me off. Let me finish. You go watch it. I let him speak more than I did in order not to give him an excuse that I was cutting him off. But I can tell you, I don't know how to say it. See, he was there. Were you there? I don't want him to think I'm boasting and putting him down. My brothers and sisters, praise the triune God for me. Praise the triune God for the gifts he's given me. God has given me a supernatural anointing of recall that even the Muslims are in awe of, and they get bulldozed. So without me saying what I need to say, it'll be out in 2 weeks. Even though I let him speak more and had to then rein him in and I had to be tough with him in certain parts, you'll see. Let me just leave it at that. Why? Because as the conversation went on, this man, you can tell, and Sargon, tell me if I'm lying, even the Muslims with him, you can see from their faces the awe and the respect for someone they didn't like because they thought he hates Islam and hates Muslims. He kept saying, you're the OG. Everyone talks about you. You're the OG. He said, when I first came to Islam, they mentioned you to me. Am I lying, Sargon? I go, I'm the OG? They go, yeah, you're the man. He even watched Libiano coming up and saying, I'm the man. He goes, even Libiano said that. So my reputation in the Muslim world, he confirmed it. Now, Sargon, please tell Sheckelstein, Moshe, if I'm lying. Did he not say, you're the OG, everyone talks about you in the Muslim community? You're the guy everyone talks about? Was I exaggerating? That's what he said, right? All right. And I said, I don't want that reputation. May I be forgotten when I die if the Lord tarries, and I pray I'm forgiven, washed in the blood of Christ, sent to rest and forgiven. May I be forgotten and no one mentions me anymore. The only ones that will be mentioned and preserved are the early Christians of the first 100 years, because Jesus uses them as a witness to find your way to the true church, the ancient church, and that church is still preserved in the Assyrian Church of the East, even GPT, exactly, in Eastern Orthodox, Oriental Orthodox, the Catholic Church. You guys are the one true church, though you're fragmented. And I'll always say that. Doesn't matter which church I'm in. I don't deny the other churches. You are glorious, preserved, sadly you're in schism. So God will preserve the writings of the early Christians to show you these are the churches that have the fullness of the truth, though they're in schism. It's a fact. Okay. Let me tell you what the Lord did. By the time we're done, the man's awe and respect of me, he even said, you know what he said? Sargon, am I lying? He said, you are sincere. Someone who started as my enemy says on the recording, you are not in it for money. You are sincere. I see that. You are sincere. Unlike the others who are all about the numbers and grifting. He said it, guys. He goes, because your heart, you're sincere, we are praying This is what they said. You become a Muslim. You are sincere. Let me tell you what happened at the end. No, I'm not. I'm not. I am tainted, but it's the favor of the Lord. I said, you know what I'm going to do for you? No, may I be forgotten, brother. May I be forgotten. I love you guys, but don't make me more than I am. I am a sinner. Believe me, I'm a sinner. Ask this young lady my struggles. Ask the Lord have mercy on her and that I don't cause her to stumble. I said, you know what I'm going to do for you, Kadamian? I'm going to apologize on the camera. I'm going to let you know. I don't hate Muslims. I'm going to apologize. And I explained. I go, please forgive me. I wasn't talking about your mother who's a Christian woman because my mother's a Christian woman. Unfortunately, people don't understand. When I call someone a son of a whore, I mean the whore of Babylon. Anyone belongs to Satan, their mother is the Babylon, the mother of whores, 17. But that's no justification. Forgive me. I would never call your Christian mother a whore, nor I turn to the Muslims and say, nor would I call any Muslim mother a whore. And I said, one thing about me, I try to be fair. I'm not a Zionist. I'm not a Zionist. And I condemn the murder of all those Palestinians. Sargon, how did the Muslims there react? And I said, guys, you're going to get me in trouble because you have Woodstein who's going to say, see, he's kissing up to the Muslims. How did they react when I said that? I didn't know there were two Palestinians there. I didn't know there were two Palestinians there. The atmosphere turned into one of tension to complete peace. And I was joking during debate, making them laugh. Even the Muslims couldn't stop laughing. They couldn't stop laughing. They couldn't hold themselves laughing from my jokes. Even Kadamian was laughing at my jokes. And that's why he kept saying, you're sincere. I'm going to tell you how the atmosphere turned. And even that young lady will tell you, I went to my room at night. I'll be honest. That young lady will tell you. I started crying. I started crying. And I'm going to tell you why. There were two Palestinians. One who I think was related to a friend of mine, Walid Ziada. And there was another Palestinian, a younger boy. He kept looking at me with love. Brothers, when I finished and I got up and I go, forgive me if I've offended you. It's not my intention, honestly, but it's religion. That young man came up. Guys, I just want you to hear this. He first said, Salaam alaikum, out of his love for me. He's not supposed to greet me that way. Alaikum salam. When I hugged him, he hugged me so tight, almost like a son hugging his father. And he was Muslim. They all hugged me. They all laughed with me because they saw I don't hate Muslims. I don't hate Muslims. I don't hate them. I don't. I swear I don't. After this debate, let me tell you something about Kadamian. I was wrong for thinking he was one of these vile Muslim debaters. Number one, I was wrong. He's not Armenian. He's not from Armenia. And I apologize because that made me angry towards him even more. I thought he's Armenian who betrayed the Armenians. Lord, forgive me. And Kadamian, if you're listening, forgive me. His father was Iranian Shia. Mother was Christian, but not raised as a Christian. He said, no, I wasn't about Christian, and he chose Islam. He's not Armenian. I walked away loving him and the Muslims there. And then I'm going to tell you what happened with the Mormons. And let me tell you what the Mormons did. Two young, handsome. In fact, I can show you because they're going to be on camera. And at night, the lady can tell you, I cried. I'm going to tell you why I cried. And I'm not trying to put on a show. I'm going to tell you what I hope for. If you guys give me a couple minutes, don't leave. Oh, by the way, if you saw what happened when I was in Vegas, how many people recognized me? How many people recognized me? We went to see the UFC fight at an outdoor event. People recognized me, came to pictures of me in the casino. A guy recognized me, and I'll tell you that story if you want to hear it. It was a miracle story. And then Sargon and his buddy Shekels were there. They can confirm. Shekels, can you confirm? Moshe, let me show you this picture. Oh, yeah, it's up here. Here's one of the Mormons. That's one. Let me show you the other young man. You know, I'm trying not because I don't want you to think I'm like Thaddeus putting on a show. Here's the other young man. Trying to cry and put on a show. Ooh, no. Here's the other Mormon. Old enough to be their father. When they saw me after the break, see right there, you see? They're right there at that event. They go, guys, they walked up and said, it is a pleasure to meet you. We were excited to talk to you because we look up to you. Mormons. Me? He goes, yes. We know about you and we look up to you. I go, really? Yes. Now, when they came with such love, you're going to see me on the recording. Look, ask me any question about the Trinity. I'm not going to ask you about Mormonism. You can ask me. Go ahead. Shoot your best shot. The atmosphere was one of love and respect. I think when you watch the debate, you're going to see how much love I have for these two young boys and how much love and respect they had for me. We got to the issues. There was no compromise, but you'll see nothing but love for these young men. In fact, the one young man put me on the spot. He goes, can I pray? And I thought about it. I go, oh, he knows we don't have the same concept of God. And if he prays, I cannot amen it. So I'll pray. He goes, go ahead. Thank Jesus if you let me pray. Okay. After the conversation was done on Brian Davila, it's going to be 2 weeks. I went to my room. Guys, I'm going to open my heart to you. Okay. You guys mind if I open my heart to you? Because my haters are going to hate me and going to say, "C's compromise." I don't care. I was wrestling with myself and I said, Lord, how can it be? And I even said it in the discussion. I said, let me tell you what I believe. And I have believed this. Ever since God what's that word? Refashioned me to see the Bible clearly, not through Calvinistic lenses. And I've seen the heart of God. And I've understood the scriptures without the Calvinism poisoning my understanding. I've always believed since that moment, God, who desires not to perish, saves everyone because of Jesus Christ. Listen to me. This is me. I'm not representing any church. I'm not speaking for the Catholic Church, Assyrian Church, Eastern Orthodox Church, Oriental Orthodox Church. They wouldn't want me to speak for them anyway. But watch what I see, and I'm speaking my own personal conviction. When I see these young men, pure, trying to live holy lives, decent lives, and yet, from my perspective, they don't have the truth to no fault of their own. I cannot. This is me. You can say you're being sentimental and subjective. I know. But my subjectivism also comes from me reflecting on the heart of Jesus. If I feel this way, how much more him, how much more compassion, mercy, as well as just and righteous he is. But seeing their circumstances, I do not see how Jesus, in his love and compassion, won't pity them, and because to no fault of their own, forgive them and perfect their theology in his presence. Maybe it's for me to cope. You know why? Maybe it's coping. Maybe I want to believe this because I can't look at these young men's eyes. I couldn't look in the face of a Kadamian or his friend, the cameraman, seeing that this is what they believe sincerely. And they're not those fanatics, those murderers, those jihadis, and thinking that they're going to go to hell. I'm being honest. Maybe it's my way of coping. It's one thing for Mustache Man, Setnahu, traffickers, molesters, right? Murderers going to hell. That I have no problem with. It's another thing when I see people seeking to live moral lives, seeking to live virtuous lives, showing love and compassion, avoiding vices, and these people being destroyed with everlasting destruction. So I cried for them. I pray I'm not deceived and I don't go to hell. But I told them, look, even in the interview, I said, my belief is Jesus will take your circumstance into consideration, and to no fault of your own, if you have followed something not true, but you did what you could to honor God by living a life of purity and holiness, Jesus saves you. You're not saved without Jesus. You're only saved because Jesus. But does that mean you have to now confess him here? Or can he see your circumstance, bring you in glory and saying, I'm the God that you are crying out to. I'm the God who blessed you. I'm the God who loved you. I'm the God who knew to no fault of your own. You didn't know any better. And I forgave you. And now your theology is perfected. Maybe it's my way of coping. Maybe it's my way of being able to not get drowned in sorrow and depression. That even children or elderly people who are not murderers or molesters, who don't go bombing innocent children, right? Shooting them down like you have with these leaders, they will be accountable. Maybe it's my way of saying there's no way Jesus, infinite, loving, compassionate God, would treat them the way he treats the others. There's no way. He is infinitely loving and more compassionate and loves them more than I do. And if I, an imperfect sinner, my heart breaks for them, how much more his? My understanding of Jesus is just me, guys. Isn't a God who is needy for attention. And unless you figure out here, the hell with you. He's a God who's a patient God saying, to no fault of your own, you never got to know who I am. So you did your best with the revelation given to you, and you try to live up to it without knowing that it's me all along who's been blessing you. But you did your best with what you had, and now I'm going to save you because there's no salvation without me. That's how I think. This is how I think. Now, that's not official teaching of any church. I'm not speaking of a church. I'm talking about me, a broken sinner. When I look at these people, how? Let's say I'm wrong and I'm deceived. Would I want God to know my heart, that I meant well, and please take that in consideration, don't destroy me? Yes. Why would I not want that for others? Love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. If I want that measure to be used for me, then I need to have that same attitude and ask Christ to use that measure for them. Right? Same measure. This is where I say, now, that doesn't mean you don't preach. I will still preach the truth. I will still glorify Christ. The Bible's God's word. Jesus is the only way. To anyone who will hear, and if they're not convinced by my case and think it's weak, and in their hearts they're convinced they have the truth, God knows that, will take that into consideration. That's my belief. It became harder for me to want to debate anyone after this debate. After seeing how beautiful and loving those two young men were, and how wonderful Kadamian was, and the Muslims were, it's hard for me to debate. What makes these people into monsters where you hate them is, number one, the demonization by like David Wood, and number two, never sitting with them face to face. You saw the conversation between me and Jake. You saw when he came humbly. You saw the difference. Sitting with them made me, in fact, Sargon, do you remember? Are you a witness when I said, I feel bad debating this guy, the Muslim guy? I wish I hadn't. I feel bad. The guy made me love him. I feel bad. So I don't know. The debates for me left me brokenhearted and sad, not rejoicing. You know why? When I tell you at the end of the day, I don't care to debate, it's the fact that I know God is real. I know Jesus is alive. I know death is not the end of us. I know there's an afterlife. I know there's judgment, heaven and hell. And I don't want to see these people go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. I don't know. I don't know what to do. It broke my heart to have to debate this man after I got to see his attitude. But because of online drama, online spiritual bloodfest, those clips of him being animated demonized him, and people are making fun of him. People are making fun of him. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to follow that path. I don't want to demonize him. He is a son of Adam, a brother in humanity. Jesus created him to save him, not damn him. I don't want to do that. Shayla, there you go, sister. She was there. Shayla, let me make you a mod. She works with Brian Davila. Did you like the debate, sister, or you thought they didn't go well and you were disappointed in me? Here you go. Let me make you a mod, sister. She was there. Her and her wonderful, handsome husband. Let me make her a mod. Brian is a mod too. Let me put this here. Okay. She goes. That's it right there. Did you feel that the debates were wonderful and productive and fruitful? Or are you disappointed, sister, in what I did? She was there. She's part of the team with The Way with Brian Davila. There she goes. Her and her wonderful husband. So I'm just letting people know my interaction with Kadamian and the Muslims and how they caused me to love them. You're a mod now. You can comment, sister. Yeah, 2 weeks. You can ask her, Spike. She's part of the team. She was there. We're in studio. Sargon, you remember her? Shayla? You're a mod now, sister. If you want to comment, go ahead. So I don't know. I don't know anymore. So it's harder for me to debate now. I fell in love with these people. I fell in love with the Muslims. I fell in love with the Mormons. Not in the sense that I'm going to compromise. No, I'm not saying that. But I don't want to demonize them and antagonize them. I don't want to do that. Yeah, see? Exactly. There you go. Cheers. My attitude with the two young men, I fell in love with those young men. I fell in love with them. It was like I was their father. Anyway, let me show you some verses. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I don't know. See, I'm pausing because there's too much pain, misery, suffering, destruction. You have children. People don't care whether they're Iranian or Assyrian or Palestinian or Jewish. They don't care if they're Hindus or Buddhists, being kidnapped, being violated, being sex trafficked, being murdered. Do you really care about their ethnicity and religion at that point? You have older people starving or being driven out of their homes or being bombed and blown to smithereens, and young children like that school in Iran, a school of girls that got bombed and they died. Does it matter their religion or their ethnicity? Do you think when Christ saw that, oh, well, they're Muslim girls, who cares? Oh, well, do you think that matters? Let me show you. Let's put a human face behind all these people. Why it bothers me. I think sometimes my emotions get the best of me. Here, let me show you. Pictures of young Muslim children. Watch here. See, when you put pictures of face, you're telling me Jesus is not in love with this young girl, young boy. You're telling me Jesus is not in love with these children because of their ethnicity or religion. You're telling me Jesus sees a Muslim girl, or does he see a child that he created for his glory? How about here? You're telling me Jesus sees an Orthodox Jewish kid, or do you think he sees a child I created who's also related to me physically? I'm a Jew and he's a Jew, because my Jewish mother gave me a human nature that now connects me to them by blood. What do you think Jesus sees? And I can go on and on here. Young, right? Indian. I can go on and on. How about here? Pictures of elderly Muslim women. Here. You're telling me Jesus sees an evil, wicked woman right there? That woman right there? Because she's a Muslimah right here? You're telling me when Jesus sees those faces, he's looking at evil, wicked reprobates? What do you think Jesus sees? Do you think they're to be blamed that they don't know the truth because they've never had the truth presented to them clearly? They've lived in communities where they're pretty much sheltered, and all they've known is this. How about this? Remove the religious identity, ethnicity, and that's your mother. That's your daughter. That's your son. You know when the dehumanization begins? When you put labels on them in order to demonize them because they're not part of our tribe. That's not Jesus. That's not Jesus. See why I started crying that night? See why I started crying that night? How? How can I believe that Jesus Christ, God Almighty, would damn someone like this to hell who doesn't know any better? A woman who tried to live an upright life, and she did the best with the knowledge given to her, that Jesus won't extend his salvation to her. How? How can I believe that? That's me. This is my coping mechanism. This is my coping mechanism. How about this one? And I'm going to end it here. Okay, pictures of Muslim women crying over their dead children. Watch here. What does Jesus see here? What does Jesus see here? My enemies are going to hate me and attack me. I don't care. I'm trying to be honest to the Lord and let you know the things I struggle with daily, things that come to mind. What does Jesus see here? A mother holding her child who's been wrapped up for burial. You see, what does Jesus see here? You see, I struggle with this, and I struggle now wanting to debate them because they think I hate them. They think I hate them. They think I hate Muslims. They think I hate Jews. I don't hate them. They think I hate Mormons. I don't hate you guys. I don't. I swear I don't. I beg Jesus you'll be in heaven, that I'm in heaven, I'm not deceived. I beg Jesus that you, with good hearts and seeking sincerely to do the best with what God has given you, and you don't go around violating children or molesting people and beheading them. You don't do that. I cry to the Lord, we will be in heaven because of mercy. And when you enter there, you're going to know it was Jesus who saved you. Only he can save you. There's no salvation apart from him. You're telling me Jesus doesn't cry with these women? You're telling me Jesus says, oh, who cares? She's a Muslim. I don't know Jesus that way. I don't know Jesus that way. The Jesus I've come to know from Scripture, not subjective. A God of infinite love, when he saw a widow who was bearing to her son, who was about to bury her son, a widow, the widow of Nain, who's now going to be left at the mercy of the community because she doesn't have a son, her only son, to care for her. Her husband's dead. She's now going to be at the mercy of the community. He was moved with compassion, and he touched the buyer, and he said, arise, stand up. A widow who didn't know who he was. A widow who had not been introduced to Jesus. Here, a widow who was seeing him for the first time. And this is the heart of Jesus. This is the heart of Jesus. Soon afterward, Jesus went out to a town called Nain, and his disciples and a large crowd went along with him. And he approached the town gate. A dead person was being carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow. And a large crowd from the town was with her. When the Lord saw her, his heart went out to her, and he said, don't cry. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. When a Muslim woman cries bitterly because her child has been killed, or a Jewish woman, not just a Muslim woman, you think Jesus is not crying for them or with them? What do you guys think? He's not crying for them or with them? You with me there? Then he went up and touched the bier, and they were carrying him on, and the bearer stood still. He said, young man, I say to you, get up. The dead man sat up and began to talk, and Jesus gave him back to his mother. They're all filled with awe and praise God. A great prophet has appeared among us. They said, God has come to people to help his people. Notice their views of Jesus. A great prophet. God has come through this prophet to save his people. Their theology was imperfect. Did that stop Jesus from loving her and showing her compassion? No. Let me give you a few more pictures. That's it. This is my struggle. That's it. Pictures of Jewish women. Jewish women. So we saw people, oh, you're anti-Semitic. No, shut up, man. Jewish women crying over their children. Let me see if I can find any. Oh, these are Muslim women. All right. All right. Israeli women. Let's say pictures of Israeli women. Yep. They don't have pictures here. It's not my fault, guys. I'm trying. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Picture is worth 1,000 words. And then Jesus looks at her. Woman, why do you weep? My child. They killed my child. Woman, your child is here with me. Your child is in the best place imaginable. There is no better place than your child to be with me. And you will see your child. You mourn now, but the day will come. I will comfort you. This is the Jesus that I've come to know. This is the Jesus that I've come to know. Let me show you the Jesus I've come to know. This is just me. The Jesus I've come to know. This is the Jesus I've fallen in love with. This is the Jesus that I've come to know from the scriptures. The Jesus that I've walked with, even though imperfectly. The Jesus who doesn't see an Israeli boy or a Palestinian boy. He sees children of God created for his glory, and he holds them hand by hand, and he takes them to their Father. Come, let me take you to your Father. He's waiting for you. This is the Jesus that I've come to know. Anyway, that's just me. I just want to let you know, after the debate, my heart melted for the Muslims. After the debate, I came to love Kadamian. After the debate, I realized how filthy and evil and vile even those who claim to be Christian among us are. They are wicked, they're filthy, they're evil, and they're doing great damage, and they're not helping. They're causing greater chaos and hatred and violence, and they think they're doing God a favor. And at the forefront of this is that wicked, vile dog. And why do I call him a dog? Because he claims to be a Christian. His judgment will be worse than those who are not Christian. This vile dog, this ringleader, David Wood, he's not helping Christian and Muslim evangelism. He's destroying it. And the kind of people he produces are evil people, wicked people, people full of hate and venom towards Muslims, and are using them either for numbers, status, or money. You don't see the love of Christ in them for the Muslims. You don't. Do you see any love in Thaddeus or in Eric or in the Shamu of Allah, apostate of Christ Sarah? Do you see any love in their hearts for these people, for the Muslims? Do you? I don't. It's all about scandal. It's all about fear of the other, demonizing the other in order to rally you on their side to get more subscribers. Or my life is threatened. I need $42,000. Or, you know what? They doxed my family. I need to get a house. So can you send me $100,000? Well, you got it. You guys want me to show you again? I have a lock on my door, camera on my door, because FBI told me that I'm on a list. Have you seen me? Then say, hey, guys, please send me money on GoFundMe, please. I got to move. I got to leave this apartment. I got to get out of here. And then using my child, like he did, bringing his son to appeal to sympathy, have his son. Yeah, when we're young, our mother said, if you hear anything, hide. And then when we're growing up, he goes, you got to be the men in the house. You got to attack. And how many times they've been attacked? How many times have their house been ransacked? But anyway, I hope I didn't bore you with all this. I hope you didn't think it was a waste of your time. I hope that my ranting, raving didn't discourage you. I try to make it biblical. I try to tie it in with scripture. I've done sessions on those who have not heard the gospel and their faith. Go watch those sessions. But all I can say, the more I meet these people, and I know there are terrorists among all groups. There are terrorists among them who would love to behead me. I know that. I'm not stupid. But when I meet these people and I get to speak to them and I see them, I ask the Lord, forgive me for giving them a reason to think I hate them. Forgive me for giving them a reason to think that I feel they're all demons and I want them all to be killed. Forgive me, Lord. That's not your heart. And I even say this about Jews. Let me tell you something. A young Orthodox Jewish boy reached out to me who's a grown man. I talked to him over the phone. Let me share one story, two stories, right? Because you want to hear the miracle story? You guys want to hear the miracle story? And in Vegas, but let me tell you the story. When I used to work 5 South Wabash as a security guard in downtown Chicago, 21 floors of jewelers, most of them who are Jews. I was a staunch Christian Zionist, pro-Israel all the way. And I would bend over backwards to praise the Jews because my theology was they're the chosen people. There was a particular Svartic Jewish man. He had three handsome sons, young teenagers. His brother-in-laws, they owned a jewelry. They lived in my neighborhood in Rogers Park, and they saw how much love I have for them. So his young boys one time in the neighborhood saw me, and I took them to see a film. I lost contact with them. The middle son, his middle son, he passed away. Good man. Good man. Good to his wife and kids. The middle son saw me and clips of me and remembered me. He reached out to me on Facebook. He goes, are you Sam, the security guard? Do you remember who I am? Remember my father gave me? He goes, of course. I gave him my number and we talked. He remembered me and my kindness and my love for him. And I remembered his father and what a good man. And I told him, I go, look, do not take what I say about Judaism or whatever to mean I hate Jews. I don't hate Jews. You know that I believe Jesus being the Jewish Messiah, that he's Jewish and his mother is Jewish and the grace woman. Do not take that to mean that I hate Jews. I don't hate Jews. You know I love you and your family. And I pray and I hope and I believe that when your father passed, Jesus had mercy on his soul. Now I said God had mercy. He doesn't believe in Jesus. Do you actually think those Jewish boys, his Jewish father, that I think they are evil and deserve hell and God hates them? My hope is, and my prayer is, Lord, have mercy on them. They were raised in this tradition. They have not rejected the Jesus who's real, but a caricature. Either open our hearts or have mercy and extend the grace of Christ to them. See, this is what I struggle with. This is what I struggle with, guys. I struggle with having to meet such people who are beautiful hearts, have beautiful souls, and think that if they live a life that seeks to be moral and kind and loving, compassionate, because they believe there's God and they want to make this God happy, but they don't know the truth of Jesus. And what they've been told about Jesus is this evil Jesus who sent out soldiers to murder them, that Jesus sees. They're not rejecting me. They don't know me. They're rejecting this caricature of me. And the Lord will extend mercy to them. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Now, I'm not speaking on behalf of any church. I'm not saying I speak for the Catholic Church in this regard, or the Assyrian Church, or the Oriental Orthodox. I don't represent any of them. They don't want me representing them. I speak as a wicked sinner who struggles to make sense of the world and the misery and the pain and the suffering of the world and the evil of the world and the fact there is eternal destruction and everlasting life. And what happens to all these people who either were murdered or oppressed, abused, taken advantage of, trafficked, right? What about them? You're telling me they will then suffer everlasting destruction? after the hell and misery they went through on this earth? What about those Jews that mustache man killed? I know some of you have gone so extreme in your hatred of Zionism, you won't even deny the reality of it or lessen their numbers. That's between you and God. That's between you. I have no problem affirming 6 million, 7 million. 6 million Jews, 7 million. I don't care. I think that those Jewish young boys, those Jewish mothers or fathers, or those elderly Jews that were gassed and died, they went to hell because they didn't know Jesus? I've never thought that. I've never thought that. When I say never, even when I wrestled with Calvinism, and I wrestled in my heart, the back of my heart, I always went to Acts 17, Acts 14, that due to their ignorance, God overlooked whatever it is they did. You think that young Jewish boy who got gassed, or that elderly Jewish mother got gassed, they're going to now be destroyed with eternal destruction? What I believe, this is me. Sorry, guys, if I'm boring you with this, if I'm torturing you with this, if you're like, man, this guy's gone. Well, yeah, maybe I am. What I believe is when Jesus saw them, they didn't know Jesus. They didn't reject the Jesus they knew and double down. They didn't know who Jesus was. When he saw them, in respect to his human nature, being a glorified man with a glorified physical body, still being the offspring of David, of the tribe of Judah, he not only saw his creatures whom he created, but he saw his brothers and sisters according to the flesh. And he saw, they don't know me to reject me. They're not rejecting me because they don't know me. And I'm going to save them by my blood, bring them and say, come here. You know who I am? I am your Messiah, your God. I was there crying for you. And the moment this happened, I rushed to receive your spirits into my bosom. You're mine, and I have forgiven you. That's what I believe.